Today I'm going to talk about astrology. Now, I know there's probably people watching who are quite sceptical about astrology. That I know even people who are into the occult and the esoteric who are still sceptical about astrology. And I think there's a reason for that. Before 2010, I can remember I was quite sceptical about astrology, and it was for a reason. I was brought up around astrology. My mother is very into astrology, so it's always been a thing in the family and stuff like that, and I've always been interested in it. But one thing what made me very sceptical about the fact that that it actually was legit was the fact that, because when people look at astrology, they only look into their sun sign, and my sun sign is Cancer. So I was observing other Cancerians I knew, and they were absolutely nothing like me in terms of personality. Maybe a bit, but not not the type of... I knew people who are from different star signs who had more similarities in personality with me than other people, who were Cancerians. So for a time it kind of took and like, nah, I don't really believe it. But when I started looking into my actual chart, my astrological chart, which is, you can go and look it up what it is on Google, just type in astrological chart and you know what it is. And when I started looking into that, it made a lot more sense. It made a lot more sense, and it reflected a lot more the entirety of my personality, instead of just one section of my personality, which is what the sun sign is. And really, that kind of opened me to looking deeply more into astrology and kind of thinking, yeah, this is actually fucking legit now. Because before I was just looking at it and I was like kind of very skeptical about it, but always had an interest in it. So I would require any of the people who are skeptical about astrology to actually just look at your rave chart, astrological rave chart, and you will see that it does reflect your personality exactly. It did with me. I mean, the fact that I have Capricorn in my Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, it does correlate very well to my personality, because my way of thinking and it's quite structured, and it's very has a lot of structure around it, and the way I look into things and stuff, and the way I absorb information is through a very structured process, and a very also a very analytical process as well. So that makes sense, because Capricorn is very analytical, it's very Saturnian in that sense, and also the fact that I have Leo in my Moon, Mars and Venus. This makes perfect sense for me. I mean, the fact that I have a lot of I think I have a lot of Leo in my personality. If you know me, I'm kind of very I wouldn't say arrogant, but I'm quite strong in my views, and I don't just and I'm also quite proud at times. I have a lot of pride in myself, which can be taken as just me being egotistical, but actually really isn't. I mean, I'm not egocentric in that sense. I'm quite introverted person. I'm quite, but I suppose that is where my Cancerian comes in, because I have Cancer in my Sun and my Mercury, with Jupiter in Gemini, my Jupiter. So all with, and also Scorpio in my Pluto. Looking into your astrological, you kind of got to know also what the star signs all mean. All the signs mean first of all, and like how they, you've got to have some at least basic knowledge of astrology to really kind of read your rave chart. I mean, you can pay other people to read it for you, but it's worth getting at least a basic idea of astrology. I'm not an expert at all in astrology. I do know I do have a good foundational basic knowledge of astrology. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not a expert by any means. I'm not a astrologist or anything like that. I just find it does tell me a lot about people, I think, and it kind of, when I look at someone's rave chart, it kind of helps me understand them as a person, what personality I'm dealing with, stuff like that. Much more than when I don't know what their rave chart is, because, and even if I'm just looking at your sun sign does not tell you all the absolute to who you are. I know plenty of Cancerians who are nothing like me, only probably certain degrees maybe of aspects of their personality might be similar to mine, but not really, hardly similar at all. I mean, so it doesn't, like I said again, it's all, you're looking at your rave chart really, and I think this is all about knowing yourself as well, but shows, like, it kind of like gets to know who you are as a person rather than and it kind of helps you yourself understand your own personality and see, oh yeah, that's the reason why I'm like this, or that's the reason why I'm like this. Oh, this makes perfect sense now. You see, and this kind of gets to know yourself more, rather than not really understanding aspects of your personality and thinking that what you things what actually are naturally part of who you are wrong, in the sense, or are negative. Well, yeah, we all have negative and positive parts of our personality. That's just part of, the reality of, we're in. We can't really do anything to stop that. So, this is what that's all I've got to really say about this subject today. And thank you for listening.